Chapter 9. General Tubman. Harriet helped many enslaved people get to freedom on the Underground Railroad. She repeatedly put herself at risk to help others. After Harriet crossed the bridge into Canada with her parents in 1857, they were reunited with their sons and their granddaughter, Kizzy. Harriet's family members and other refugees who had settled there had become part of a thriving community of farmers, cooks, and builders. They started churches and sent their children to schools. Some owned land and could vote. Harriet stayed in Canada for the summer, chopping wood and growing vegetables to earn money. But as usual, her mind was focused on helping enslaved people achieve freedom. With her parents safe and surrounded by family, she plotted her next trip back to Maryland. By now, Harriet's reputation for bravery had become well known. She had convinced many enslaved African Americans to believe in their right to freedom, and other abolitionists sought her advice and help. Harriet believed in freedom and justice, and was courageous enough to risk her life for it. In 1858, she met a well-known abolitionist named John Brown, a determined and passionate white man. Brown had led slave rebellions in Kansas and Virginia, and he believed violence was a necessary means to end slavery. At their meeting in New York, Brown called Harriet General Tubman and asked her to join him in his mission. Harriet believed Brown could help her cause, and she encouraged other Black people, free and enslaved, to hear him speak. She may not have supported his violent methods, but she agreed with his goal: to end slavery in the United States. Harriet was a great speaker and storyteller herself. She gave speeches at gatherings in private homes, sharing Brown's abolitionist message. As the movement grew, she spoke at larger meetings and assemblies. Harriet shared stories of her own cruel treatment and how other enslaved people had suffered. Lastly, she called on everyone who would listen to oppose the Fugitive Slave Act. On one speaking trip, she traveled to Auburn, New York. Through abolitionist friends, she met New York Senator William Seward, who was sympathetic to the plight of fugitive slaves. He understood that Harriet was also still considered a fugitive slave, and he admired her heroic work. He offered to sell her a piece of land at a low price, and she accepted. Harriet liked the idea of being able to move her parents to New York because she wanted to have her family together in one location. Soon her parents would join her in the old house on South Street in Auburn, with its barn and fragrant apple orchard. That autumn, Brown called on Harriet to help him with the rebellion he was planning to carry out in the South. He and his fighters would raid or attack an arsenal in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. He hoped that the attack would give enslaved people in the area a chance to revolt and escape. But Harriet was ill and couldn't come to the raid on Harper's Ferry. Instead of traveling south to West Virginia, she stayed in New York. The rebellion didn't go as planned, and because of this, Harriet's illness may have saved her life. Brown took 60 hostages, prisoners, but he was overtaken by troops and captured. He would later be hanged for his role in the failed raid. After Brown's death, Harriet continued to speak in public to raise awareness of the abolitionist cause. She had heard news of large groups of enslaved people revolting and leaving the eastern shore of Maryland. Despite constant setbacks and hardships, she was confident that she would see the Jubilee during her lifetime. That's what enslaved people called emancipation for all.